Hello, this is Joe. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have episode 2 of my East Coast Travel Journal finish up series. In the first episode, I basically worked on 3 spreads simultaneously, and we are going to be doing the same thing. We're actually jumping back to one of the Montreal spreads, and we are just going to add some finishing touches. So as you can see, I have this tan or beige paper that I cut into this organic blob, and I place it over top of this really cool pamphlet that has photos of the Notre Dame Cathedral in Montreal. And just to make it more obvious, I am going to use my favorite stamp set and stamp the word Montreal onto that left hand side of the spread. And I am using the Kelly Perky Alpha stamp set. I don't know if this is in her shop. I will double check and link it down below. But I love it because it is an outline of the letters instead of a full block letter, because I like this. I don't know why I like this. Maybe it's because it's an outline and you can kind of see what's behind the thing that you stamped. And then I rapidly jumped over to my Ottawa spread, or one half of my Ottawa spread, and I wanted to stamp the words "O Canada." If you didn't know, that is the name, that's the name of our national anthem. And I wanted to stamp that over top of the province flags and territory flags of Canada, just because this spread looks really patriotic, and I'm still using that Kelly Perky stamp set. As you all know, I really do like using acrylic stamps in my spreads, but I don't seem to use them very often. Maybe I need to find like a new storage option for them, so I'm reaching for them more. Right now they are behind my desk, so that's not the best place to keep them, so I might have to move them over. I also started this spread at the end of the first episode. I basically don't think I filmed it, but I made this really abstract like skyscraper background on the right hand side of the spread behind the tip-ins, but on the left hand side of the spread I'm just stamping the word "bye" multiple times. I do this a lot in my travel journals. I did this in my Paris travel journal, or at least one of the spreads that I made for the travel journal, because surprise, I haven't finished that travel journal yet. But I really like how graphic it is, and I think that's another reason why I like this Kelly Perky stamp set, because it's so graphic and bold without using a lot of ink, which is great. Just a heads up, I'm also using the VersaFine black ink. It's my favorite ink because it kind of works on most surfaces. I use the StazOn ink for like really slick surfaces, but the VersaFine pretty much works on like glossy paper too, or like slightly glossy. I wouldn't say like it wouldn't work on like transparency paper or whatnot, but it works for most glossy papers. And after I stamped "bye" multiple times, I went in with my black Sharpie just to put the word Ottawa, so it says "Bye Ottawa," since on Sunday the 25th I actually left Ottawa via train and headed back to Toronto. And I have been using this font a lot in my travel journal. In the previous pages, I don't think I showed very much of the pages that I actually worked on while I was traveling around Ottawa, but in my sketchbook I also use this font a while. It's kind of like a gothic serify font, but it's not like traditional. I think it's called black letter. I really used to like black letter calligraphy. If you didn't know, black letter is just I guess like traditional gothic style lettering, but this is my take on it. It's a little bit more softer and a little bit more modern, and I have been liking that a lot recently. It's I really like this style. But as you can see, I am using my Superior Labor leather pouch already. I love it so much. I love it. I can't stop fanboying about it. But the leather is so soft, and I don't know. It's just one of those things that I'm really excited about. And then I ended up going a little bit sticker crazy. So I went through my sticker storage system. This is just from my friend Claire, and she's my pen pal. She sent it to me a while back, but I still use this storage system because it just works for me. It's in a accordion filing system. Sorry, I keep getting my tongue tied. I blame the coffee and the really fast voiceover. I feel like I'm speaking so fast. I need to take a chill pill. But I am using these Traveler's Notebook or Traveler's Company 2019 stickers. These came with the dated inserts. And the thing is with stickers, I don't know about you, but I hoard them. I don't use them because they're so, like, I don't know, they just look so good. And it's just that inherent fear that I'm going to run out. And I know we should be using our supplies. And I know, like, people, like, there's a movement surrounded around the idea of using your supplies, because a lot of us tend to hoard things. So I ended up using some of my stickers. This, like, sticker set is from my friend Zika. I think she's My Paper Projects on Instagram. I'll link it down below as well. But I love her stickers, and as far as I know, I think she makes them herself just like me, which is great because you get to support like a small business. She also has this anatomical oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. Anatomical. There you go. Anatomical drawings of these, like, body parts. There you go. Oh my gosh. And now I'm back to this Montreal spread. This spread just kind of confuses me because I worked on part of this during my travels. That's why I have these tip-ins, because I ran out of tape runner during my trip. But I thought I would not do any formal journaling and just kind of keep this as a very, like, I don't want to say minimal because it's not minimal at all. There's like a million tip-ins, but I wanted to keep it simple with just tip-ins and some lettering. So I am using my Posca paint pen. I am loving this thing so much. I think it's because the ink is pretty opaque and the nib or the tip size of this marker is actually quite fine. So you can use it in a smaller, like, project, like a traveler's notebook journal, because I've seen other paint pens that Posca makes and they're usually with a chisel tip, and as much as I love a good chisel tip marker, I really like a bullet tip because you can do some finer work with that type of pen or tip. And I am just lettering the words art, coffee, and friends because my trip has basically been centered around those three words and three themes. I really am, I don't know, inspired by art and journaling and illustration recently. So a lot of my trip has centered around that, and sketching during my trip. So I had that, and then I had coffee next because, as you all know, I really love coffee. And I don't know, I've been like a coffee snob for like the past few years. I used to not put any milk in my coffee because I wanted to taste like the different notes, and I was really into like third wave coffee, which is like small batch local roasters. But recently when I went to Toronto, I don't know, I think everyone was just like drinking Tim Hortons, and there were a lot of Tim Hortons like cafes and stores out there. So I recently have been craving Tim Hortons double doubles, and that's what I'm drinking right now. I basically bought some Tim Hortons beans and have been making my own double doubles at home, which is like, if you're a coffee guy or a coffee person, like, it's really bad because it's like the total opposite of third wave coffee. But I am not a coffee snob anymore. I like coffee in any of its forms. I love a good pour over. I love a good espresso. I love, like, you know, tasting all the notes and the floral notes and all the minutia that goes into coffee culture. But sometimes, like, I just want a good double. If you're like American and haven't had Tim Hortons, you probably don't know what I'm talking about at all, because I don't know if you guys have Tim Hortons over there or in other parts of the world, but Tim Hortons is a Canada, like a Canadian staple, I would say. It started in Canada. I think it's owned by Americans now too, which is interesting. But yeah, Tim Hortons is very Canadian. If you're in Canada, try it. Let me know what you think. But I love a good double, and I am not ashamed to say that anymore. Feels so good to say that. But I just rambled about coffee for like a good 3 minutes, so I apologize. But I know people who watch my channel know that I am a big coffee person, so that's all right. But back to this Ottawa spread. I am jumping back onto this spread because I wanted to add some washi tapes. So I added this blue washi tape from Classicy, and then I am using this kind of botanical tropical leaf washi that has blue and green tones to it. I really like this washi, but I don't seem to use it very often because my color schemes are usually in the warmer color family, like the oranges and yellows and reds recently. But for this journal, I've been using a lot of like blues and greens, which is nice because it's a little bit outside of my comfort zone. And now I'm just going to different spreads. This is back to the Sunday the 25th spread, which is the day that I left I left Ottawa and I was headed to Toronto, and I added some of that blue and green Classicy washi tape as well. I don't know, I really like adding washi tapes from the same brands because they kind of just go together. So I added this grid washi from Classicy. It's one of my favorites. It just has blue grid lines with a accented red line like every 10 centimeters or so, and then I added this little label to that side of the spread, and then I used more of that grid washi from Classicy to accent that photo of the Parliament building in Ottawa. I also added this really cool Polaroid of my friend Riza and I. Obviously, for privacy reasons, I have put washi tape over our faces, but obviously when I'm done filming this journal with me, I will remove those washi tape covers, because obviously I want to see our faces, but I ended up covering that for privacy reasons for now. Now you can finally see the spread or the page that I was working on in the end of episode 1, which is these abstract buildings, and I have recently really liked doing this. I basically got this idea when I was making this brush lettering piece that I was going to post right before my trip. I just never ended up posting it, but I will put a photo of it on the screen right now, and that was the main inspiration for this page, and I really liked it. I'm adding this black square, and I want to do some journaling with a white uniball signal, so I basically added that so I have some journaling space, and then I am adding a drop shadow because I love drop shadows now, and I have Amanda Rachley to blame. If you don't know who she is, she does awesome bullet journaling videos, and I'm so inspired by her excessive use of her drop shadows in her journaling and bullet journal spreads. But this is pretty much the end of episode 2. Stay tuned for episode 3 when I dive into this travel journal again. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye everyone.